Hello, guys. I'm your host, Rulaya. Welcome to Open Up Routines Devotional Podcast. It is always exciting to talk to y'all. It's always exciting, full of energy, full to learn, full to grow. I am so excited as long with you. We always have very fun, interesting topics that I feel like, are you reading me right now? Or are you like reading what's going on in my life? Those type of topics, hot topics. Okay, so the topic is Jesus is your word. And I'm gonna say that again for somebody that needs that. Jesus is your word. So thinking about this, I feel like sometimes people want to find validation and they seek validation from people because maybe they're not finding it in the right places, and the right place is Jesus. Seeking the people sometimes turn to peer pressure, then they do things that inside them they don't really want to do it, and it's not things that they know would glorify God or necessarily help them and their future, but they still go ahead to do it just because everybody else is doing it, which is very sad if you ask me. Sometimes people go into different friend groups, and as a result they get into drama. They start changing things about themselves. They start being like everybody else. They lose their uniqueness. They lose their light. They just stop showing around for God. They just want to be like everybody else, which is honestly really sad because it's a reminder for everybody that Jesus is our word. We don't have to find it in a group of people. We don't have to find it fitting in. We don't have to find it trying to be like everybody else. We don't have to find it in a friend group. We don't have to find it in a sport. We don't have to find it in a party. We don't have to find it doing illegal things just because we want to fit in. We don't have to find it smoking drugs or doing all manner of things, getting into unnecessary relationships just because everybody's doing it. That's like the weakest excuse in 2024, like for real. Everybody's doing it. You know better than that. You know it's not good for you, but like it doesn't make it like, yes, I understand like peer pressure might be sometimes intense, especially when you don't have the right groups of people around you. But same way you found the peer pressure, better run and find the right groups of people that are actually there to guide you. Because when you find other believers that are loving God fully, serving God, peer pressure will start bowing down. We must understand who our identity is in Jesus. Our identity in Jesus. Many people don't know who they are in Jesus, and that's why they take unnecessary risks, and they're still paying the price till today. Some people paid years, some people paid in prison, some people paid by death, unfortunately. Some people lost their self-dignity, their self-respect. They lost who God wanted them to be just because they wanted to be, and they wanted to do what everybody else is doing. Proverbs 1:10 says, "My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not." My son, if sinners entice thee, consent. So you have a choice. You don't have to follow what everybody else is doing just because everybody else is doing it. You have a choice to consent thou not. I am not going to give you permission for you to make me make a decision that's going to affect my future. I'm not going to put myself in a situation, or I'm not going to put myself in a group of friends where it's going to jeopardize me and my self-respect. It's going to jeopardize who God has called me to be. I'm not going to put myself in a situation where it's going to jeopardize my identity, where it's going to jeopardize my work, where I'm going to start looking at myself. Oh, everybody's dressing like this, so I have to dress like that. No, you definitely do not have to follow those norms. It's not even a rule. Who made the rule? Fashion trends are changing every day. Things that make you cool are changing every day. People are making new things. People are making new ideas. People are making new ideologies. But we're saying our solid rock is Jesus. Because if you don't stand for something, you can fall for anything. And Jesus must be our solid rock. Jesus must be our solid rock. My dear child, knowing your worth will help you boost your self-esteem and prevent you from falling cheaply for anything. Having a stronger self-esteem would have encouraged so many people and would have stopped so many people from doing things that they did not need to do. It would have encouraged so many people to just say no, and that one no would have saved them from so many troubles, so many things that they're paying for now that they shouldn't have landed themselves in if they simply said no and they had high self-esteem. And when we mean high self-esteem, we don't mean pride. It's two different things. Pride is a sense of low self-esteem. When we mean self-esteem, we mean loving who God has made us to be and loving the God that made us to be. That's what we mean by self-esteem. If you know your worth, it'll be impossible for anyone to entice you with money and flashy things. So because everybody is dressing in a scandalous way, you won't fall for that cheaply. Because everybody's getting into one friendship. You're not cheap. You're God's prized possession. You're a holy nation, called out of darkness into his marvelous light. You are a holy nation, called out of darkness. I'll say that again. Called out of darkness into his marvelous light. Let that sink in. You are a holy nation, called out from darkness into his marvelous light. 1 Peter 2:9. That might just be your message for the week, because it's easy to get into peer pressure and all that stuff, but you have to make a choice. It was easy for Jesus to betray Jesus for only 30 pieces of silver, because he did not know the worth of being a disciple of Jesus. If he had known the value of his friendship and closeness with Jesus, he wouldn't have fallen cheaply to the temptation to betray him. Imagine how many times we would deny Jesus just because everybody else doesn't want to stand up about your faith. Everybody else doesn't think loving Jesus is cool, like going to church is cool, like praising the Lord genuinely is cool, or like you deny Jesus in front of your friends because you want to fit in. Some of us are worse than Judas Iscariot. If you actually analyze yourself, some of us are way worse than him. Unfortunately, by the time he realized his mistake, it was too late to retrace his steps. Matthew 27:3-5. May that never be us. May you not be so enticed in peer pressure that it affects your destiny. May you not be so enticed in peer pressure that you're afraid to say no. Your destiny is not child's play. You don't need to be playing with yourself like that. You really don't. You need to know your worth. When you don't know your worth, you're going to be making careless mistakes that do not need to be made. And people are going to treat you how you treat yourself. If you want to be careless and if you don't want to know your worth, people are going to treat you like that. That's just life. I implore you to not go into an unholy relationship or entanglement because of chicken change. So chicken change basically means you want to get benefits from this other person. Someone in their worth will not settle for something like that. An unholy relationship, for the matter of fact, you don't feel ready to wait. You don't feel worthy of a holy relationship. You don't feel like you deserve better as a child of God. So then you settle for all of this stuff. And the thing might look good in the eyesight, but it's not worth it. That shows low self-esteem. Selling for a guy because of a Tesla. Come on girls, it's 2024. The blood of Jesus is my worth in 2024, and is worth far more than rubies, gold, silver, and all the precious stones in the world. Beloved, Jesus did not lose his word before men. Jesus sat with sinners. He didn't lose his word. It's not like he was isolated or anything, but he didn't lose his word. Don't lose yours either. Imagine when Satan wanted to tempt him It was like, if you are the Son of God, then turn the stone into bread. Jesus knew who he was. He didn't have to listen. Just because you can does not mean you should. Just because it's accepted by society does not mean it's the holy thing to do. It does not mean it's something that glorifies Jesus in your life. It does not mean it cannot affect you. So don't pay the price of things you don't need to pay the price for. Have friends that pull you closer to Jesus. Friends that pressurize you to Jesus and not away from him. When you have friends like that, they're able to focus your heart on things of God more, because it's more fun like having a community that enjoys God with you. Never exchange your destiny for temporary enjoyment. Never exchange your destiny for chicken change, for temporary benefits, for the temporary feeling of belonging. Don't miss out on all the beautiful things that Jesus has to offer, because what is trendy today will change tomorrow. What was popular today will change tomorrow. The car that was selling today, there's another model for tomorrow. You are invaluable. Do not put a price tag on yourself. I am loved by God. I am a holy nation, called out of darkness into his marvelous light. Tell yourself and remind yourselves of the beautiful promises of who God. When God calls you something, he means it. He called us good when he made us. So you don't have to be feeling that unworthy because people are saying, thank God they're not God, because our worth is not defined in them. And the measure of worth will always change, because our measure of worth, human beings' measure of worth will change. Thank you for listening to